Hey girls. So, sorry I look so gross right now. I just got back from the gym. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. So, and if you ever have any questions or anything you would like me to talk about, please feel free to ask me. I'm an open book for the most part. So, yeah. Um, First, I wanted to talk about my man and I. Because when I'm watching other girls' channels, um, what I want to know is how they met and how long they've been together. Maybe I'm just nosy, but I don't know. I like to know a little background because these videos are talking about their Marines and themselves, and I don't know. It's just nice to know how it all started. So I'm going to try and give a very brief description of how we met, how we got to where we are today. We went to the same high school. Sorry, my eyes are bugging me. We went to the same high school and we met when he was a freshman and I was a sophomore. He is 1 year younger than me. So he was 15, I was 16. We started dating the summer after his freshman year, after my sophomore year, and we fell in love very quickly. It wasn't love at first sight. That's another story, but we did fall in love very quickly. We dated for the remainder of high school, and then I went to college, and he was a senior in high school. Um, and we saw each other about every 3 weeks. My college is about 3 hours away, so I'd go home or he'd come visit, and it was tough. And that's the longest we'd ever been apart, was 3 weeks. And it got pretty rough because I was starting a new part of my life. I was in college. I was experiencing all these new things, and he didn't understand them. And he was still where me and him had left off. He was still in high school. I I had already been there, done that. And so it got a little bit rough. Um, we stayed together throughout the whole year, but by the end of the year, um, we had broken up. It was pretty rough. He's my best friend. He's been my best friend since he was 15 and since I was 16, and um, I love him to death, and it was very shocking to friends, family, and ourselves that we decided to break up. But no one took us seriously when we broke up. They all thought we would get back together, and we did. And then we broke up again, and then we started doing that annoying thing that people do, the on and off couples. Um, but we never stopped loving each other. We would just, we get in another fight and be like, it's over, and it was very immature. However, at the end of the summer, we were broken up, and he left for boot camp in September. I spent the week with him before he left, and it was not good. It was very bad. It was the worst we'd ever been, fighting like crazy. We weren't together, but still best friends, fighting. And then the day that he left, the actual day, September 19th, I think, he and I, it was like nothing ever happened. We dropped every fight we'd ever had. We dropped everything, and we said goodbye to each other, told each other we love each other. We were both crying. It was very emotional. Um, and we both knew that we loved each other. And so, but it was really hard, obviously, saying goodbye to him. Uh, then I honestly didn't think that he would write to me in boot camp. That's how bad things were before he left. I didn't think that I'd get any letters. I was prepared to just try and get over it while he was gone, move on with my life. Um, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. But he ended up writing me a letter that I received about 10 days after he had left. And he continued to write me, and I wrote him every day. Since he left, I was writing him every day. And he started telling me he wanted to get back together, and I rejected him many times just because, you know, a lot of the things we talked about when we broke up are, he's going to be gone. Does he really want me here? Holding him back? Does he want to go experience military life to the fullest? I don't know. I was very unsure, and then eventually, I'm just falling in love with him all over again. And I wrote him a letter telling him that yes, I do want to be with him. I miss him, I love him, I've always loved him, he's my best friend. We've had some time to grow up apart from each other. Um, I'm 19, I'm almost 20, and he is almost 19. And we've had some time to grow up since we were 15, and we're ready to start over. And I actually just sent him the letter telling him that I want to be with him again on Monday, and it's Wednesday. So he doesn't know yet. He won't know till probably next Monday. So there's a brief of how we met and how we are back together, and you guys know that we're back together before he knows. So, yeah. So that's about us. So now I want to talk about boot camp. Just a little bit. I'll have to make another video talking more. I'll just talk about the first part, what to expect. So, I went to all the recruiter meetings with him, almost all of them. I know his recruiter very well, as in, like, I have his phone number, and he would text me, his recruiter would text me to try and get a hold of my man. So, I've been with him through this whole process. The recruiters are great. They're really funny. I can't speak for all recruiters. I guess I'm only speaking for these, but in the ones I've met, there's a lot of humor, sarcasm, but they can be serious too, obviously. So, meeting with the recruiters. The day that they leave for boot camp, you go into the recruiting station with whoever wants to be there with him, and his recruiter should give a brief of the basics of boot camp, what's going to be happening to your recruit in the next few days. And he does this for parents and the girlfriend. And so there was a ton of his family there, but I wasn't his girlfriend at the time, but his recruiter didn't know that. He pulled me and his parents aside, gave us a piece of paper, gave us some links to Marine websites like marineparents.com. It's good for girlfriends or family too. A couple other sites, and just Google Marines. You'll find a lot. Then he told us what would be happening. In our case, he had a flight to another city, and once he got there, they did some last-minute screenings with him, physical, make sure he's still doing well, and he got to call me when he got there because his friend also happened to be there and had a cell phone. His friend who is not a Marine. He was actually there for other reasons, and so he got to use his phone and call me, and luckily, which was really nice because I didn't think I'd get to hear from him again. And then he took another flight to another city, and once he got there, one of the recruit that was going to boot camp with him, one of the recruits had a girlfriend who happened to live in that city, and the girlfriend came to say goodbye to her boyfriend, and she let all the recruits use her cell phone to call their family members and girlfriends one last time. So that was really nice too. I got to hear from him 3 times total. And don't expect it because he was under special circumstances. Someone had a phone, but yeah, they do have access to a phone. They can also buy calling cards in the airports and use the payphones. So, but when he did call, it was very emotional too. It was rough for him. It was rough for me, but I'm glad that I got to hear his voice. And then, like I said, with mail, probably wondering when you'll get your first letter. I got mine, I believe I counted 10 days. I wrote him every day, and I've been writing him not every day, almost every day. Sundays, mail doesn't go out, so I usually don't write one, or I do and I send it out the next day. At most, I will skip one day, and then I always write one the next day. Usually every day, though. But it takes a really, really long time for our letters to get to them. Not very long for them to get to us. I get his letters about 4 to 5 days after he sends them. It also really depends on where you live. I forgot to mention that. Well, this is where I live. Might as well just put it out there. I'm wearing the sweater. He's in Camp Pendleton, California. So, or MCRD. He's in San Diego, and so for me, it takes 4 to 5 days for me to get his letters, and I have not been able to figure out how long it takes for him to get mine. I just know it's a very long time because I sent him a letter telling him that I got his first letter, and about 2 weeks later, he's like, "Oh, I got the letter saying you got my first letter." It was a really long time after, so I know that they do not hold the mail from the Marines, from the recruits. So they do get it as soon as it gets there, until towards the end, towards weeks 7 and 8, they go to Camp Pendleton and do more hiking and shooting, and then I know that they get their mail. He said that the mail system is different then, and he doesn't get mail every day. I think he may only get it once a week when he's in Camp Pendleton, and he was only able to write on Sundays when he was there. So around week 7, 8, 9, be prepared. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Be prepared to only get mail once a week. It really stinks. Right now, I got mail 2 weeks ago. I got it on a Thursday. Then last week I got it Saturday, and then I haven't had any this week. So he's been in Camp Pendleton. He should be back at MCRD right now, and so I'm assuming he's writing to me this week, but I won't get the mail till next week. So, yeah. There are 29 days left until his graduation. I'm really, really excited. Well, 29 days until I get to see him at Family Day, and then his graduation. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be making more videos very soon. I will talk about kind of what goes on at boot camp. From what he's told me, an insider's view of what's happening over there. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.